Hi everyone. Let's talk about the very last etude from Köhler's Opus 89, number 22, this one in B flat minor. This opening melody lacks a bit of a tonal identity. It's lacking a third, and it's using a chromatic lower neighbor, sharp 4, which tends to indicate 5 of 5. It's also really emphasizing scale degree 5. So all of those things together, it feels like it's not sure if it's tonic or dominant. This really comes into play when we start getting A naturals, because it lulls us into thinking that we're in B flat major. I did decide to use B flat thumb for this opening section, although you can see I had to remind myself to leave it on because every time I play a G flat, I tend to want to go to B natural thumb. When I was practicing this opening section, I made a reduction. As the theme returns, I changed my reduction. You can find the theme because all the way through the piece, it's indicated with an a tempo. And that's the group of measures that I practiced my first day. Something about this passage, especially at the later statement when the octave is displaced, caused me to kind of have a tense left arm. So I practiced with both elbows either on my knees or on a table, and I also practiced relaxing my arms, just checking in to be sure that I didn't lock my frame when I was playing this passage. Leave lots of space. I started the second larger section in the middle of a phrase, and that is because that's a spot where B flat thumb can come off. I thought it was helpful to do 8-bar phrases over and over until I could get that in my fingers and in my ear. The next section takes us into F major. The very end of this section contains the modulation. So if you play the last two measures going into the 2/4, you'll hear 5-1 in F. If you back up two measures before that, you will hear an applied 5/7 chord of 5, meaning that we are tonicizing or making scale degree 5 into a temporary tonic note. That pitch then becomes 5/7 again and takes us to F major. The 12 measures before the 2/4 contain a sequence that's based on a 5/7 of another chord. So if you play those two measures at a time, you'll be able to work through that sequence. For the third section, Köhler again emphasizes that chromatic lower neighbor. He also does another sequence of applied dominance that emphasize yet again going to F major. For the double tonguing, try to do what Keith Underwood calls a no contact double tongue. So you can actually feel yourself pushing against the airstream as you go through these passages. I also practice with rhythms, bringing out the changing notes. And I linked to the downbeat so that I was always going tu ku 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 tu. There's only one spot where you will want to take your B flat thumb off during this section. 8 measures from the end of the 16th note passage, I went ahead and took that G down the octave and practiced. The last 3 lines of the etude are a coda. Look closely at the second and fourth measure because one is chromatic and one is not. It can be helpful to remove that repeated note. If you're having a problem getting that last section up to speed, it can be helpful to place your arm either on your knee or on a table, and be sure that you're not squeezing extra to get the accent. That you're just puffing a little extra air. The most important thing for any music that we learn is that we challenge ourselves each practice session to do one thing that we're dreading, and then we reward ourselves with praise for the things that we've done well. So thanks for tuning in this entire series, and have a great week.